Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on YouTube? It's Filthy and we're back with another Raid Shadow Legends free-to-play video. Today we're going to do a champion guide on a nifty little rare called Conqueror. I'm going to show you why I've got one sat at 40, talk about whether you would maybe want to take this champion up to 50, maybe up to 60, probably not, but I'm going to show you what his kit is. Nice little cool build here to help out with one of the potion dungeons, which is pretty nice. Before we do jump into it though, welcome to anybody who is new. As always, thumbs up brightens my day, and subscribe if you're enjoying Raid Shadow Legends early look. Now, Conqueror is a farmable rare, so you can get him from the campaign, from Stage 1, Carrot Castle. One of two Bannerlords, the other is Valerie, and the one that we're looking at today is Conqueror. So if you want to book him up, you can get copies to book him. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to book one out, even at 40, because obviously you get CVC points, and it's not a terrible amount of books to improve his kit. I haven't booked him, I haven't got jewellery on him, I haven't ascended him. He does what I want him to do fine, and I'll talk about whether I would or would not build him out further, depending, I guess, really on your account. Let's have a little look at the one that I've got rather than in the index. So his A1 attacks 2 times, not a brilliant A1, slightly beneficial for Finite because it's a double hit, but the rest of his kits doesn't synergize with Finite, so I probably wouldn't take him there. But you'll see that we've got 4 pieces of the Cursed set on, so that will give us a heal reduction of 50%, 75% chance of placing it. So that with the 2-hit A1, really early game Finite, you could take him there, he would be useful, but really that's not a place that he's going to shine. His A2 I think is what is most interesting for him. So he attacks one enemy, removes 2 random debuffs from the target, or 2 random buffs, sorry, from the target. Now the reason I say potentially you could book this guy is because you could have this on a 2-turn cooldown, which could be quite handy, because every 2 turns you can take 2 buffs off a target. So for the Spirit Potion, which has got the block debuffs on, every other turn he could take it off. He can take it off 1 in 4 turns without being booked, so that's kind of a matter for you. Really good for the Force Keep, again increased defense, he'll strip it right off, could book it down to every other turn. Magic Keep is the weak affinity, so he will weak hit, so he won't always take the shield off, but he's got a good chance of taking it off because it's 70% chance that you won't weak hit. And if you did book this down to 2 turns, then you're back to this ability pretty much instantly, so it's not the end of the world if he misses once or twice, because you would get it back. But all the other potion keeps, I think he's really good, even at just at level 40. So to strip the buffs, all he needs is a bit of accuracy, and that's how you're going to try and build him out. His A3 will attack a single target, and it does have block revive, so an enemy killed by this skill cannot be revived. Now, I've played through this game 2 or 3 times from start to finish to end game. Every so often you do come across somebody who has invested in a Conqueror up to level 60, and he does hit quite hard. He's got fairly decent single target hit, but block revive is pretty niche. It's useful in Ice Golem if you can get it off, but Ice Golem's generally a little bit about staying alive, and this guy's a little bit squishy. Plus, for Ice Golem, we know we've got an Armiger, who is an uncommon Sacred Order, who does have block revive, as well as enemy max HP, and has got really nice turn meter control on his A1. So you're going to build this guy out to 50-60 before a Conqueror. So building him just for the block revive, I don't think it's worth it. I think Armiger, for a free champion, has got a better block revive on him. So really that kind of makes this part of his kit a little bit redundant. Marginally useful in faction wars if there are any waves where somebody does reviving, maybe on one of the bosses, but really you don't want to be building a rare champion out just for faction wars. It's not worth the investment. Artifact wise, we've stuffed him in 4 pieces of Curse set, as I said earlier, so a 75% chance to do the small version, 50% heal reduction. You don't need accuracy to land from a set, but you do need accuracy anyway for the buff strip. So what will happen is he will strip the block buffs off the Spirit Keep, and then he's got a high chance, 75%, of placing the 50% heal reduction. As I say, useful for Far Night a little bit as well. In terms of stats, you want to get his accuracy up. Whatever stage you're doing, you want around about 10 times the amount of accuracy is just a good rule of thumb. His chest plate is only level 8. We could upgrade this to level 12 and we would get a bunch more accuracy. We could look for a perception set or accuracy set to go here for boots and also for chest plate. That will give him some more accuracy. I think substat wise, we've got 1 on the shield and then 1 on the helmet, unglyphed. So again, you could roll all these pieces up to 12, make him tankier, make him perform better, give him more accuracy, and slap some jewellery on him if you got him. No masteries, haven't taken him through the Minotaur because I'm probably going to chicken him fairly soon. And that's just simply because I've got the Mystic Hand, who will steal 2 random debuffs already on a 3-turn cooldown with no books in him. And I just think I like this a little better. I'm kind of tempted between keeping both of them because they're different affinities. So Mystic Hand is weak on the Spirit Keep, which is where Conqueror is neutral. So the removing of the block debuffs is handy. But Mystic Hand, I quite like his kit as well because he's got a block buffs on his A1 and does a heal and equalization of HP, which is quite a nice little heal on a 5-turn cooldown. So I'd rather build this guy to 50, I think, than Conqueror. Albeit there's no guarantee that I'm going to build either of them up to it. It depends who we pull in terms of champions. One thing I would say about the Spirit Keep is because Armiger does good turn meter control, and because we've actually pulled a Lysandra who does fantastic turn meter control, full drop here, decreased turn meter here, the need to actually strip the block buffs for my account is less, so I can definitely carry a Mystic Hand weak hitting in the Spirit Keep because it's not the end of the world if the buff doesn't come off. But let's show you Mr. Conqueror in action. His total stats, just out of interest, are 11k HP. He's a little squishy. I'd like this to be higher, maybe 13 or 14,000. Defense is really low at 600. Again, if we could eke a little bit more on that, it'd be nice. Speed is always handy. His accuracy could do with bumping up, but he does kind of do the job at the moment. And I think you can take a level 40 all the way up to 15, just so long as he's not dying or you've got somebody to pick him up, then he is absolutely fine. So we've got Rhonda and Kale in for damage because they are the strong affinity for the Spirit Keep, and then we've got Armiger, Lysandra in for turn meter control, and let's see if Conqueror doesn't get the stage fright and can actually do what I say he does. But he's not a bad champ. If you did 51, I don't think it's the end of the world. You can use him everywhere. You could book him, and then he is pretty decent for the keeps, because I think a booked Conqueror at 50 would be absolutely perfect for Magic Keep. Maybe even all the way up to stage 20. We'd have to test it, but I think he's pretty good. Right, so let's see if the boss will actually get her. Well, he's put the heal reduction on there, but she hasn't had a chance to do the block buffs. So let's see if she gets it up now. Will she cleanse herself and put it on? Right, okay. Now we're going to have to wait, I think, for his cooldown. We should have done this on manual, shouldn't we? We'll run it again, we'll do it on manual. I'll show you what I mean. If you had the 2-turn cooldown, we would have stripped it. So let's do replay, and we'll take it off. Take it off also for the boss, just to show you. Just to make sure that we're not telling fibs. Right. Okay, so let's take it off auto. Do the AoE for Kale. And then I guess we're just going to try and take the minion down. Give it a big whack with that. Right, so we'll use the max HP on Armiger just to allow the boss to get the block buffs up. Heal reduction goes on. Right, okay, she's cleansed. She's got the block buffs, block debuffs active. So, we're going to have to A1 and take her 10 meter down. That's fine, doesn't matter. Right, okay, so it's this A2 here. Attacks one enemy, removes the buffs. So there you go. We've now swapped the block buffs, block debuffs buff from the boss, which is super annoying. So now she would heal, but only at 50%. So quite a nifty little move, I think. Can make this easier. If you don't have Lysandra, and you're just relying on one Omega for turn meter control, getting her the boss's heal down to only 50% could be quite handy. So as I say, you could book him out and take him in a few other places, which I think could be good, and you could also use him in your Ice Golem runs just to see how he gets on. But as soon as you start getting up to these later stages like 13, he's really going to get squished, I think, without building him stronger. Just a really quick word actually on Faction Wars, because again I'm sure people will be thinking, is it worth it? Well, most accounts now have got Rhonda, so that's one of your 5 slots. She's like never going to come out your team. You know, you get the Archmage from clearing Doom Tower early on, so he's pretty much going to be in your team the whole way, I would have thought. And then in terms of rares, Valerie, Conqueror, they can be the beginnings of a Faction Wars team, but ultimately you kind of really want epics. So I wouldn't really be taking this guy past 50. You know, we did do a full video reviewing all these rares on the channel, and there's a few okay ones, I think. So he's not a bad champion for Faction Wars, but he's not, you know, you don't want to 60 him just for it. I think actually he does also have an attack aura all battles if and when you get him ascended, but I'm not really planning on it. If I didn't have the Mystic Hand, then I think I would be much more likely to build him up to 50. I'd probably ascend him and book him, and I'd just basically use him as a utility champ in the dungeons, and then once I got somebody better at whatever it is that he's doing, I'd probably chicken him at 50. So that is the video. That's the guide. Conqueror, heal reduction set. Give him some accuracy, he'll take off the block debuffs buff. God, that's hard to say. I've been the Filthy Casual. I hope you enjoyed the video. Take it easy. Peace.